humanitarian is someone who is devoted to the passion of helping people in need.
A humanitarian cares about others, including people that he or she does not know.
A humanitarian to me is someone who understands there's always a bigger story going on.
To me, a humanitarian is a person who gives of his time and talent and treasure for the benefit of others.
My relationship with Glenn is one of community service. With my involvement with the fire department over the years and Glenn's involvement with numerous civic activities, we knew each other early on, and we've become stronger friends in recent years. Glenn is a member of the Tempe South Rotary Club, as am I. And so we work on community service projects together through Rotary.
I got to meet Glenn about, it's almost 5 years ago now. He and I met through a mutual friend named Dennis Marcello. And it was because of Glenn's incredible relationship to Boys and Girls Clubs. Our relationship has blossomed through the years. We talk a lot about Boys and Girls Clubs and kids, a lot about college basketball, and just about life in general.
When I first saw Glenn Gilcrease, I was a Boys and Girls Club kid at the Tempe Club back in 1985. This tall, distinguished-looking gentleman walked in the club along with other adults, and they walked into a room. As a club kid, I thought, how boring. Don't know what they're talking about. I don't know why they're meeting. And I went on and played with my friends. Fast forward to now, I realize now and over the years, it hit me that he was talking about me and the other club kids in that club to help us, to make sure I had a safe place to be after school, to learn, to play. Glenn has helped thousands of kids in Tempe, and to make sure that he believed in helping kids be the best they could be.
Glenn is a good friend. He's a fellow Rotarian. We're both members of Tempe South Rotary Club. I've worked hands-on with Glenn in a few of the local projects that we've done. Feed My Starving Children is a project that we work with all the time. Here recently, we've been very much involved in helping Lily's Pad get started. That's a sterile playground for children with compromised immune systems. And lots of other programs around the community itself.
Tempe Rotary, we like to proclaim ourselves the greatest Rotary Club in the world. And we have so many great members. I've never heard the question one time, what's in it for me? It's always, what can we do for Tempe, our community, and our state?
Glenn's biggest impact is in doing and leading by example. Glenn is just a great representative of the City of Tempe and what we always hope that the City of Tempe is and will continue to be.
So I was a club kid back in 1980s, and Glenn was instrumental in the early 1980s to merge the Tempe Boys Club with the Tempe Girls Clubs, and became the Tempe Boys and Girls Clubs, first in the nations, before even Boys and Girls Club of America merged. And for him to have that vision back then makes Glenn a trailblazer and a transformational leader.
It was January 2020. We were giving Glenn he was being inducted into our Hall of Fame for our local Boys and Girls Clubs. And it was a big gala event. We were honoring our Youth of the Year kids, and Glenn had an opportunity to come accept the award and stand up and say some words. And I'll never forget it. A moment that was supposed to be about him, he totally changed the narrative. And for the next 5 or 6 minutes, gave the most impassioned speech I have ever heard about why you support kids and why you believe in the next generation and why you should do that through Boys and Girls Clubs. I wish I had it on video. I was literally in tears at the end thinking, I've never seen someone talk so passionately about what it means to make a difference in a child's life. And here's this moment that was supposed to be about him, a Lifetime Achievement Award, and instead he took that opportunity and made it all about the kids. It told me everything about his integrity and his character.
I think seeing what the Boys and Girls Club did for kids, especially those kids with less, who didn't have economic security around them, I was inspired to try and be a part of that, help those kids.
Glenn is a person of the highest character. He exemplifies the traits and the teachings of Abraham Lincoln, and in fact does a pretty phenomenal Abraham Lincoln impression, both in terms of costume and demeanor and the content of his presentations. And Glenn leads much of his life based around the teachings and the high character of Abraham Lincoln.
Well, I think the impact that he has on people, especially young people, he talks about his performing as Abraham Lincoln, and every time I've seen him do those performances, it makes me want to go back and study a little bit of history.
Being Abraham Lincoln is one of the thrills I have in life. I started about 25 years ago, putting a little bit together here and there, and suddenly I had a play. To me, if somebody wants to be inspired, they can listen to the Gettysburg Address. And another thing that's so inspirational about the Gettysburg Address, it's just 4 minutes long. So here's the greatest speech in the American English language. It's 4 minutes long. So when people struggle or say, I don't know if I have enough to say, I say, can you talk for 4 minutes? They look at me and smile and say, well, sure. I said, you got it.
Glenn's biggest impact is in doing and leading by example. Glenn is just a great representative of the City of Tempe and what we always hope that the City of Tempe is and will continue to be. And Glenn exemplifies that. He works every day to make Tempe a better place.
I believe Glenn deserves this award because of his constant working and volunteering to make Tempe a better place.
No one person knows everything that Glenn's involved in. Obviously his work with the Boys and Girls Club, with Rotary, and with Sister Cities, people know about. But Glenn and I have a mutual friend who a few years ago faced a very, very serious medical issue. And I wasn't even sure that Glenn knew that he was going through all of this. And I went to the hospital to visit him the afternoon of his surgery. And when I walked into his hospital room, Glenn and his wife Delane were already there. And so he very quietly watches out for other people. And like I say, most people could not even list everything that he is involved in to help other members of the community.
I think his biggest impact is that he continues to always talk about what's happening next with kids. As a lot of us get older, oftentimes what used to be something we were passionate about turns to complaining about what the next generation is doing. That has never been him. It has always been about what are the challenges they're facing, what can we do, how can we help kids and what they are being born into, what kind of life are they living, what are the issues that they're facing in education, after school care. It's always about what's happening next for him. And every conversation I've ever had with him, he has asked me, Sam, what do the kids need? What do the kids need? And so I think his biggest impact is he keeps our focus on who's coming up next and what we need to do to make them successful.
Yeah, for Boys and Girls Clubs of Valley, and for most nonprofits, you have people that donate their time, people that donate their money, or advocate, and all are very important for a nonprofit. But then you get a very rare person like Glenn who gave his heart, mind, and soul. Not only did he donate his time, he donated his expertise, he donated his money towards a cause to help young people. And that is why I cherish and value Glenn, and I feel he is deserving of the Don Carlos Humanitarian Award.
Well, it's really special, and I'm really honored by receiving the award, because when you think of the word humanitarian, it truly encompasses giving back and giving to others and trying to reach out. What I like is the Marine Corps, has a saying, you never leave the fallen behind. And I like to adopt that and incorporate it in my life, to never leave anybody behind, whether they're a poor kid, whatever the circumstances are, we reach out to help.